What if I told you there was a toxin floating around right now in your body that you also needed to survive? This toxin must remain within a certain range. Too low and your body has no energy to fuel the cells. Too high and you become very sick, leading to an increased risk of heart attack, stroke, or even loss of your legs. That toxin and fundamental fuel is known as sugar, and today we're going to explain how you get diabetes and why it can be so dangerous. I'm Dr. Adam Goodcoff, and welcome to Your Health Explained. Diabetes, or diabetes mellitus, as it is known in the medical world, is a disease of sugar. This much you likely know. As with most things in medicine, diabetes is much more complicated than just sugar in the urine. The body needs an energy source to function, much like a car uses gasoline. Imagine with me for a second your average gasoline car. You can drive around freely without any connection thanks to your gas tank. Some days you need to accelerate hard to enter the freeway using a lot of gas, and other days you lounge around going slow without consuming much gas. The body operates in a similar manner. Some days you need to accelerate hard to enter the freeway using lots of gas, and other days you sit in traffic without much gas consumption at all. So what is that gas source for the body? Well, that is glucose, a fancy medical term for sugar. Unlike the car where we pump fuel, humans must eat to get their glucose. It's not just sweets like candy that have glucose. Almost all food sources can be broken down into glucose. You're probably asking yourself, how does the body know whether it should use the sugar or put it in the gas tank? That's a great question, and the answer comes from a hormone signal known as insulin. Insulin is produced in the pancreas, a long organ that lives in the center of our abdomen. As our blood glucose level rises, the pancreas ramps up into overdrive to pump out insulin molecules. These then float along to the cells of the body, signaling the uptake and use of said glucose. So what about those gas tanks? Well, those are primarily your liver and muscles. That doesn't seem too bad, does it? What's the issue with sugar if your body can store it? As our food intake goes up, our blood glucose level rises as well. In response, insulin levels rise, and if that sugar is not burned up, our fat level will also eventually rise. So we now know one reason why people gain weight from eating, but I promise we are ready for the bottom line now. Diabetes is not a disease of fat, it is a disease of sugar. With these rising levels of sugar in the diet, the pancreas is put on overtime. At first, the organ can keep up. In fact, in early diabetes, it isn't even a pancreas problem. The issue is in the cell's response to that insulin. Think with me about your own legs right now. If I asked you to run, you could. Now that you're running, if I asked you to run faster, you almost certainly could. If I yelled at you and told you that a bear was coming right behind you, I would be willing to bet that you could still run faster. However, at some point, your muscles would get tired of my yelling, and no matter what was coming behind you, there would be no ability to go any faster. Even worse, if I continued to yell and never let your legs rest, they would perform worse than they were at their maximum. You might cramp up. You might even fall, unable to take just a single step. The same issue happens within your cells. In those with high sugar diets, insulin is showing up at their door continuously, and the cells start getting tired. So tired that they are eventually resistant to the insulin and become unable to take up any sugar at all. It can no longer keep up with the demand, and the pancreas too starts to fail, no longer able to produce insulin. This is the shortened story of how you develop type 2 diabetes and the progression to insulin-dependent type 2 diabetes. Now, if you want to learn about how we test for diabetes, make sure you subscribe for part 2. When it's released, we'll link it here at the end of the video. If you enjoyed today's video and found it educational, please consider giving this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to have your health explained.